Hey everyone, Dr. Baron Grutter here. I wanted to show something that I don't know that I've ever really talked about, and it's something I think that we should discuss more, and that is guide tube length. So when you're doing your guide tube design or your circle guide design, if you're using the advanced flow and you're adjusting the software guide tubes, a lot of times we don't talk about the height. If you see my recommendations, I usually just tell you to put it at 4. So more time we spend on the diameter, to fit our drills, and then the offset, because the offset is the height difference between the top of the guide tube and the top of the planned implant surface. So I always say those are the most important numbers. As long as you set the other one to 4, you should be good to go. But let's talk real quickly. What does that height actually do? And this side by side is a great comparison because my default of 4 millimeters is usually adequate to give us good guidance here. The problem is in this case, I'm going to now. Let's just click on this front implant. Let's center it here, and let's just look on the profile. You'll see that, well, it's not great. Let's see if the other one's any better at this. You'll see, I think, hopefully, I'll zoom in here, that I'm trying to put the implant into the palatal bone. And I might even move this a little more. I kept them kind of parallel. But the point is, a lot of times our anterior implants are really trying to put them in the palatal bone more so than the root space is going to want to direct, which goes right along here. If I had segmented this case, it would have been really helpful. You'd see the outline. But suffice to say, I'm going to be drilling into an angle wall. What's going to happen is the drill is going to want to wander this way, which is very common. I'll usually go ahead and actually offset a little more palatally with a little more of an apical tip that might be more than you actually want to account for that. But anyway, the point of this, what I'm getting at is if you look at my other implant, sorry for that loud chirp, is that with this drill, or this setup right here, this is the only trajectory guidance I have is this 4 millimeters. And I've talked about before is drill wag. And then what happens is how much will the drill actually twist or bend away from that desired trajectory. The thought is that 4 millimeters is probably enough to keep pretty good control. However, let's just take a look at this guide that I've designed here. Let's maximize this. Let's go to the guide panel. Let's show the curve. Here's my guide curve. And I actually tucked it back in here because I want to be able to have full visibility there, and I'm actually covering the palate, so I've got plenty of strength here. And so the resultant guide looks a little bit like, or looks like this. Oh, wrong button. And so let's turn off the implants, and you can see that it's all in here, plenty of strength, and it allows me to kind of visualize. But you'll notice that this right here is all the way down to, and that's because I actually planned both of these to be 7 millimeters in height. The software will respect the actual tissue and anything that's sticking down in here. So let's go back into here. Let me just undo because yeah, where is it? Come on. How many undo? Oh. Well, undoing isn't, there it is. Sorry. Kind of pointless. I was just going back to where it was the full length, and there it is. So that's where it was when I planned it. Okay. If I don't, let's go ahead and change these back for just a minute, or we'll keep this. We'll just hide it for now. We'll go to the implant list. We'll come down here and change this to the 4 millimeter to apply to. Let's just do it to one of them so you can see a good side by side. Let's go to the guide panel, click Create Surgical Guide, and in a moment we'll have a guide and you'll be able to see the difference and kind of the lost opportunity. And what's going to be most important is this apex of the implant is going to want to come towards me, okay, in the 3 dimensions. It's going to want to come more buccally because it's fighting that palatal wall, which means that right down here is where the guide is going to be getting pressure right along the apical aspect of this tube. So if we leave the guide tubes high and kind of just leave them be, let's just turn these off for a moment, you'll see that there's, we're missing an opportunity here where we could have some more trajectory control. So that's why I extended my guide tubes all the way to 7. You can go to 20 millimeters, it doesn't matter because it's going to cut it off at the level of the tissue. So again, 4 millimeters, why do I say that? Why don't I just always do it at 7? What I like about 4 is that, let's go ahead and get out of this view. Let's turn on the implants. And it's because of the 2D perspective. So with 4 millimeters, sorry, I can't get my mind on track, is I can see right in this view, where is the outline? Okay, let's turn off, this is these surfaces, let's turn off these hints. And yeah, so the green is the model, and you can see where the outline of the tube is. And you can say, okay, well, I've got trajectory control to here, but right here I don't, because the green overlaps in here. So, and that's okay. I mean, that tells me that there's a chance the drill could wander this way. It's unlikely, but that, I have to kind of be aware of that. So 4 millimeters is a good view because that's what I need at minimum. But if I want the best control, I'll put it to 7 millimeters like I did on this implant. Now, it's not the greatest for planning because how much is going to get cut off, it gives me a skewed perspective of what to expect. So that's why I like 4 for planning. But again, if you really need to control that trajectory, I would suggest that you go ahead and leave them, change them down to super long. 7 millimeters in my case buries them. Oops, apply to all, and that kind of buries both cylinders into the tissue. I know by looking on their side, I can see them both sticking out. So anyway, guide tube height. That's what the whole video is about. Hopefully that was helpful. All right, you guys have a good one. Bye for now. Oh yeah, take a look at my other videos on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell. And check out my website if you need more guidance on finding some videos. That's barongrutterdds.com. And you can check me out on Facebook and Instagram.